I think you did a video on your Instagram about the habits of these billionaires and millionaires. Energy was one of them. And you said a lot of them, the likes of Buffett and them, they're not exactly fit. They don't go to the gym. I know you go to the gym as well, but you just come across like you've got this energy for what you do. But you've kind of explained why, I think, there, which is I think a lot of people can learn from that. If you know, this energy does seem to be a common trend, doesn't it? A common thing that a lot of these people have at the top.
Yeah, so I've studied a lot of billionaires. I know a decent number of billionaires, but hundreds of millionaires, half billionaires. Obviously dragged myself out of a lot of debt and became a millionaire before age 31, which pissed me off because I wanted to say in my 20s. 29.9 is still your 20s, but I missed it.
Yeah, 1 year off.
Yeah. And I wanted to be very technical with that because I've heard a lot of people say, oh, yeah, you know, millionaires, they get up at 5 a.m. Not all of them do. Oh, yeah, you know, they go to the gym and they eat healthy. Not all of them do. Warren Buffett drinks Coke and eats burgers from what you read, but they have endurance. So they do what they do for a long time with no loss of enthusiasm and endurance. So they're not necessarily rah-rah. They're not necessarily 16-hour-a-day workers, and they're not necessarily, you know, high energy pumping weights at the gym, but they have endurance, longevity, and that comes in different forms. So I just wanted to get that really technically correct. Yeah, like you said, the recent post on my Instagram was the common habits and traits of millionaires and billionaires. That'll also be on my money podcast. And I've been very careful with defining those, because a lot of people just say, you know, grit. There's loads of people who've got grit that aren't millionaires. So yeah, I just wanted to be a bit more technical.
Yeah, cool. No, thank you for that. I know we're digressing a bit, but I just wanted to, on that point, I want to ask you, who's the most impressive in terms of businessman that you've met? Or a few of them, might not want to single one out. You know, you've got these billionaires. I mean, some of the podcasts blew my mind that I've listened to, some of your guests. Is there any one that really stands out as like, wow, this guy or this lady is like impressive?
There's greatness in everyone. And if you don't pedestalize or over de-pedestalize anyone, you put us all on a level, you can learn from everyone. And that's what I've endeavored to do over the years. So I get asked this question a lot because obviously on my Disruptive Entrepreneur podcast, I've interviewed 170 freaking awesome people in 700 episodes. But I'm not going to put anyone on a pedestal and say,
fair point.
You know, but Barry Hearn is one of the most charming people I've ever met, and was just very impressive the way he handled my team, the crew, the environment we were in, because we had a room booked and they wouldn't give it to us, and we had to do an interview in a restaurant, and his charisma, and he was like, if you ask my team, they're like, he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. Floyd Mayweather is an imposing and challenging guy to interview, and I interviewed him twice. Not many people have done that. So that was definitely up there for an experience.
I found him at the start, he almost changed my perception of what he was. He was really, yeah, he was just different. And then he got cooled as the interview went on, didn't you? You know, shorter answers, wasn't it? He was almost changing what I thought he was like at the start of the second interview with you. And then towards the end, he was like, you know, but I imagine that was challenging. You certainly seemed that way.
Yeah, I got 29 questions in 23 minutes. Wow. What are we, 14 minutes in, and you've probably squeezed 4 in so far.
Yeah.
And you're doing well.
Yeah.
So I like to challenge myself like that. I also like to judge a human being based on my experience of them. And too many people are too fucking quick to judge. So I won't comment on anyone I haven't met. I interviewed Katie Hopkins, who's mega controversial, because I wanted to show the world a side to her they may not have seen because I haven't interviewed her before. B, I wanted to come from the entrepreneur angle and see if I could extract some interesting stuff. And see, I just wanted to shake up my community and, you know, just put the cat amongst the pigeons. I often like to challenge myself to do things that would disrupt me. And she was quite charming, major flirt. And, you know, some people said, Rob, you shouldn't be associating yourself with her. It's only a fucking interview, for God's sake. You know, get over yourself. That was a good experience, definitely, because, you know, that challenged me. Kev Clifton's become a great mate of mine. I've interviewed him 2 or 3 times, you know, massive on Strictly Come Dancing. He's just an all-round really humble guy. And the guy I've probably learned the most from alive today is Dr. John DeMartini, who I've interviewed a couple of times. And he is a freaking genius. He is so well read and knowledgeable. And I've learned a lot from him. Look, I haven't even mentioned a billionaire yet, and I've interviewed 15. But I purposely wanted to just pick some different people. I interviewed Nolan Bushnell, founder of Atari, Steve Jobs' first mentor. And yeah, he was quirky and a bit of a mad professor. He was fun. Yeah, Ronnie O'Sullivan just recently.
That was, well, I texted, that was one of my favorites. It's just a very, very interesting guy. You could talk to him for a lot longer than you did, I'll imagine. I certainly could. The stories he will have will be unreal.
Yeah, we had 2 hours interview, and it felt like 10 minutes. And yeah, we definitely we hung out. We've got to know each other quite well. So yeah, look, you can learn something from everyone. If you keep yourself humble and open-minded, you can learn something from everyone.